So, is it fair to say at this point that history does in fact repeat itself? I mean, this is a crazy move. This is not the first time the Packers have done this, where they've drafted a hyped up quarterback who some people really love, no pun intended, some people not too high on. Obviously the Aaron Rodgers thing comes into play, but let's take a look at this decision, and quite frankly, I don't like it. I just don't. I think Aaron Rodgers is still good for a couple years. I think you have a window. I think you can try to improve this year, get a receiver. That's what I would do. I do think Love had some potential. I wasn't too high on him, but at the same time, you never do know. And if you think this guy is going to be another superstar quarterback, maybe it can work. Not what I would have done, but you know what? I'll play devil's advocate against myself, I guess. For this video, I'm going to talk a lot about some positives and what I like about Love and what I think he could do well and what I think the Packers saw in him where potentially maybe that's the reason why they're going to decide to, why they drafted him. And if you're interested in seeing some of the negatives, I have made a video in the past about him, so just Google JKS Jordan Love, it'll show up. But yeah, let's just get into the film study and what I do like about Love, because there are plenty of things I do like about him. We'll start things off with this play. It's going to be a cover 2 man play, and Jordan Love has a receiver running that route right there, just a very deep route down the field. Nothing really too fancy. Oftentimes in cover 2 man like this, you don't want to throw a ball deep because, there's someone who's a safety who is deep. So you're basically just guaranteeing that you're going to throw in the double coverage. However, after the ball is snapped, Love does make that decision, and as you see, the safety was actually playing very shallow, so there is a window where Love could potentially make this throw, but it is far from a huge window. There is a small window where Love could potentially make this throw, and it's also obviously far down the field, so definitely this is not an easy play to make whatsoever. There's a small window, and you could even argue it's an ill-advised pass, but he still makes the throw and is able to get the completion. I do think that was a very good throw by Love. I think that, there was a window. It wasn't a giant window, but he said, you know what, this is a big enough window. I am going to take this chance. I mean, let's be real. One of the things that he definitely has is he has a lot of arm strength. Sometimes the accuracy isn't what I would love, but he has a ton of arm strength, no doubt about it. And so for deep balls down the field, that can really come in handy. So, really good play by him there. I also like this play where it's going to be a cover 1 blitz. What's going to happen right here? And the receiver he wants to hit is running that route right there. So, pretty good route against this type of coverage, but not always the best route in this situation. It's a 3rd down and 9. So this receiver will get open, but the question is, can he get open far enough down the field? This is going to come down to, can Love make a perfect enough throw? Because the reality is, when the receiver cuts, it is going to be just before the 1st down marker. It's going to be about a yard before, actually. My graphic isn't exactly perfect, but he's going to cut about a yard shy of the 1st down marker. And so if Love maybe throws this behind him, this could easily end up being, even if it's a completion, maybe not a 1st down. So he's going to have to make a very accurate throw. Accuracy is going to be everything on this play. But watch how he puts this throw literally exactly where you'd want it. That is where you would want that throw to be. You couldn't ask for anything better than what that was. And, every now and then he will make some throws that will wow you. So I do think that, there definitely are some negatives to Jordan Love. There also are some positives, and, those are a couple of the massive positives. Like this play is another one that I really like, where it's going to be play action, and then he has a receiver running that route right there, which is, it's always a good play to run. It's going to get some of those players who are in the middle of the field to move further in, and then you can have a bigger window to try to hit his receiver, and after the ball is snapped, as you see, there's just a ton of separation. So you would expect any quarterback that's even decent should be able to make this throw, and Love is going to be able to make this completion. But the completion part isn't really what's key here. What I actually want to talk about is the fact that he's going to make an incredibly accurate throw. Watch how it really is just exactly where you'd want it to be. So again, his accuracy, at times he will miss a throw here and there, but for the most part, or at least, occasionally he will make these really, really good throws that I think are really, really interesting. So Jordan Love, without a doubt, can make some really good plays, and he's shown it time and time again. So again, if you just watch the highlights from Love, you'll be like, this guy should go first overall, because his highlights are impressive. His lowlights, sometimes not so much. I've already covered that. Again, as I mentioned, I've covered that in another video of what I don't love about him. But, ironically, I don't love Love, but I do think there are some things that are very good about him. What's gotten talked about a lot is that he is an incredible athlete, and, he absolutely is. If you factor being able to throw on the run and things of that nature, he's debatably the best quarterback athlete in the draft. Actually, no, he's not, because Lynn Bowden is a better athlete, but he's questionable as to whether or not he's a quarterback. So, in terms of the guys who might go in the first round, Love is probably the best athlete that's a quarterback. But anyways, this is a good example of it, where it's going to be play action. Love is going to roll out to the top half of the screen, and there's going to be a receiver running a curl route that'll be right around there. And so after the ball is snapped, again, kind of hard to see right there, but the receiver is open. He's significantly open. But because of this rollout, Love is now on the run right here. And one thing you could argue is that Love didn't really have to fully continue being on the run. There was not much pressure. He could have gotten his feet planted and then tried to make a throw, which I actually think he should have done, just my opinion. But at the same time, this is a tough throw because the ball was snapped on the hash marks on the bottom of the screen. He's trying to throw it up all the way to the sideline on the top half of the screen. So there's for sure a lot of distance to cover, and he's throwing on the run. So this is not an easy throw to make whatsoever, but he is going to make a good throw. He gets it there. And again, that's what Love can do. He's an athlete. He can make these tough throws on the run. Personally, I would rather see him just get his feet planted and make a throw. That's just my opinion. But at the same time, you can't deny the fact that he actually made that throw. So, maybe some negatives, but also some definite positives. And if you're a coach, you can tell, it's a lot easier to teach a guy to get his feet planted before making a throw than it is to teach a guy how to be able to throw the ball that far down the field on the run that accurately. So I think that's kind of the counterpoint to why it makes sense to draft him, is because you can teach him how to be a great pro, whereas some guys, you just can't teach them to. They never will be that great player. There's also one other thing that I like, and it's his ability to do RPO type plays, I think, when people think RPOs, they think Lamar Jackson, they think Colin Kaepernick, Taysom Hill, some of those guys. But there's actually a lot of guys that will do it from time to time. Mariota would do it from time to time. Even Patrick Mahomes would run RPOs from time to time. It doesn't necessarily have to be, and I'm talking about the RPOs where a quarterback will occasionally run. There's obviously the Philadelphia RPO, which is pretty much the quarterback almost never is going to run here unless there's a select situation where it makes a ton of sense. Typically, you just throw the ball or hand it off. I'm talking about when it's, there's the three options, the run, the pass, or the throw, or sometimes it's just an option play in general where there isn't even the pass. Like this play isn't an RPO, it's just a straight-up option play where, Love could hand the ball off or keep it himself, and his decision is going to be made by that Air Force player right there. And as you see, he is pretty close to the line, so this tells Love, keep the ball yourself and run out to the bottom half of the screen. Try to outrun him because we believe that you are faster than an edge rusher for Air Force. But right after he hands it off, that edge rusher is going to do just a tremendous job of getting out and not allowing Love to get to the outside too much. So for Love, he's in a bit of a pickle right here where he would ideally like to continue running and try to outrun him, but that's probably not going to work because the Air Force player realized, oh, this is an RPO, get over. Don't worry about getting towards him, get over. But of course, if Love just, changes his direction, starts running towards the inside, the Air Force defender will be able to adjust. He'll be able to sort of push him even closer to the inside, and someone else can make a play, and he won't gain too many yards. So Love has to get a little bit creative here, and he's going to just doing a tremendous play right here. But watch how he jukes out that defender, gets some yards, and even slides, which I like. You got the first down. You don't need to take a hit to gain 3 more yards. Slide, say good play. That's all you have to do, which I like a lot. I think a lot of guys, once they make that move, then they're thinking like, okay, this is a highlight reel level play. Okay, great. You don't want to do that. Sometimes it's okay to just slide especially after a great play. That's what he did, and I really like that a lot from Love. So maybe even you could say I love that play from Love. So, all right. Listen, I was a little bit hard on him on my last video, probably unfairly, so wanted to turn around a little bit, give him some love, talk about some plays from, 2 years ago as opposed to last year, because, that's what people kept saying. No, you can't judge him from last year. You have to talk about him from 2 years ago. Well, That was him 2 years ago. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.